Welcome back to the channel. This is our epic final episode of the year. It's our Christmas special. I'm Mike Stick, and in this episode, we are diving deep into some of New Zealand's top clubs' presidents. To round out our final podcast for 2025, hear what they have to say about their respective clubs and the New Zealand racing scene. Plus, we have our last 5 for 25 for 2025. So grab a can, give a sound check, buckle up, enjoy. Drop your sound check into the comments below. We apologize with some of the glitching we experienced during the recording of this episode. Over to our Supremo channel host, Maz, take it away.
We're going racing on the sound of the tone.
Again, locked together. First to the left, then to the right. Right odds down the inside. He's through. He's through.
Welcome back to the channel. We're doing our Christmas special. We've got 4 club presidents joining us today, and I'm going to introduce them to you now. As we go through, we're going to talk about a few different things that they've achieved throughout their tenure over the last 12 months. So first of all, we are going to introduce to the stage, Robin. How are you tonight?
I don't have a beverage to crack, so I'll start the chat with the fart noise that we go starting on the racing with. So, good evening.
Good evening. All right, I'm going to add the next one in the queue, which is welcome, Craig. How are you this evening?
Welcome. Yeah, I'm all good. So, yeah, just having a little bit of trouble with the internet connection, unfortunately.
You're looking chipper. Oh, Murphy's Law, when you start recording, shit plays up.
So we'll just have to see how it goes for me.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Hey, Ross, how are you?
I'll try my check. Doesn't quite have the same thing from a bottle, but that's what we got.
Well, that'll do. We'll take that one any day of the week. Thanks for joining the team. And lastly, we have Jonathan Cappuccino joining the team from wherever he is in the deep, dark south of Auckland.
Hey, hope that worked.
Yep, I heard it. So, gentlemen, before we get this one underway, I'll do my, once I get it undone, my mic check. So hopefully this comes out all right. How's that?
Yeah, not bad.
Blow somebody's eardrums out. All right. So tonight we're talking to 4 club presidents who manage some of the biggest clubs in New Zealand. Well, all but one's the biggest club in New Zealand because it's not actually officially running yet, but 3 of them are. So we've got Robin Upton, who is the club president for North Harbour Radio Control Car Club, and we've got Craig Puller, who is the president for AIR-CCC, or Auckland Indoor Radio Control Car Club. Ross Martin, who is the president for the Canterbury Indoor Radio Control Car Club. And then Jonathan Cappuccino, who is the president for the now coming back to life Auckland Radio Control Car Club with their new track that they're building out by the airport. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a around the house. We're going to get you guys to introduce yourselves to all the viewers, all 3 of them. And we're already online, so it's going to be pretty good. So we'll start with Robin. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do in your day job, and then what you do or what attracts you to RC?
We'll start with the easiest one. What attracts me to RC? It's I think it's every little boy's dream to race little control cars. The model is the whole daydream space on it. It's pretty cool. I don't do jumps. I can't handle jumps, so everything's on road. And when it does jump, it's obviously by accident. My day job is I work for essentially a church, and I help a bunch of addicts get back life, put life back together again. I don't confess my addiction to radio control cars, otherwise I'd be in a different category of clientele. But that's what I do for the day today.
Okay, looks like Craig's having some internet connection problems, so we'll wait for him to pop back. We'll jump to you, Ross. Do you want to give yourselves a little bit of an introduction to who you are and what you do? And
So I'm Ross Martin, aka I suppose my mates know me as Roscoe. I'm a financial advisor for a bank down here in Christchurch, one of the big four banks. What was the thing with RC? Probably like it's always been a thing that I've been interested in ever since I was a kid, and had a long hiatus from it. And then I actually had a mate who used to race at counties many years ago, and I just talking to him, and it kind of relit the fire, I guess. And I just bought a car and went and started racing.
Okay, cool. We'll jump across to Craig so we can get something out of him before his internet drops out. Go, Craig, if you want to give us a bit of an intro of yourself, what you do for a day job, and what draws you... No, spoke too soon.
I thought I was going to be the problem one.
Well, he is in the far north, so, the cable's stretched a little too thin out that way. Somebody's probably just dug it up. While he's preparing to come back, we'll jump over to you, Jonathan. You want to give us a rundown on what you do for a day job, and then also about what draws you into RC?
So I've been studying trading Forex and cryptos and stocks in that last couple of years. So sort of student / kind of day job, I guess. And then with the RC thing, I've always been interested in motorsport. Started from Mario Kart. Michael Schumacher, that sort of early era. And then I had a friend who actually got one of these nitro buggies for his birthday when I was about 14. And my parents saw me playing with that, thought it was a good idea, and it's been a lifelong addiction since. So, yeah.
We'll go around the room again. Let's talk about your respective clubs. We'll do Craig last again so he can get some time to get back online. Poor bugger. Always the way when you push the record button, eh? Okay, so, Robin, tell us about the club you represent.
So North Harbour's obviously 10 scale, purely on-road. We started the, I call it the Harper class, or the Harper Bodies class, with the 70.5. That's been pretty cool this year. It's taken off quite fast. It grew faster than what we expected, to be honest. The other adventure we got diving into is the Mini Zs on a Mini Z on-road track. They're pretty cool. We're also diving a bit into the buggy side, and I'm hoping ACCC lads will come across to that side, but it's pretty cool to race weird little cars, which actually does us pretty good for the on-road track for the 10 scale. Gives us a bit of good skill, upskilling on the racing. Always looking to get better at the trigger form.
Okay, so Ross, tell us about your club.
Yep, Christchurch Indoor Radio Control Car Club. We're 10 scale off-road exclusively at this point. We have had a bit of a dabble with on-road in the past, but we run on carpet tiles, and off-road just frankly works better. This year, the main expansion for us has been, we probably took, like I've been up in the last few years and raced in, the Masters in Hamilton, and just saw the popularity of that 17.5 class. So we added a 17.5 buggy class this year, two-wheel drive, and that's probably our biggest class now. Like, it's grown massively. It's probably a nice stepping stone for people that are learning and going from that, I guess, rookies to, instead of jumping straight to 10.5, gives them a nice entry. So it's real popular. It's really good. We've actually seen a lot of guys going and running two-wheel drives instead of like a two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We've been going for about 8 years now, and it sort of came to be. I think electric had sort of died a wee bit at Harewood, and just the weather down here is pretty shit. So the indoor stuff's always a really good option. And that's the case. So that's sort of how we came to be.
Okay. Jonathan, do you want to give us a rundown on your club and what you guys do, or what you guys are starting to do? Because
Okay. So the Auckland Club was actually founded in 1980, so I didn't know this till recently. So it's been around a while. Started underground car park at Pakuranga Town. Moved around a bunch of places. I came into it when I was about 15. We're out in the Mangere, and then we moved to the latest Mangere place at Seville Drive, and I think it was the 2014 Nationals that we held there, which was quite big. We got word that we were going to be moving to this new site, Collindale Motorsport Park, near the airport, and sort of because of that, a lot of things happened. People sort of lost interest in looking after the club, because why put effort into it if we're just going to move? And then 10 years later, we finally did move. So I actually was living in Australia for a few years when it all fell apart. I come back to help Trevor Reed, packed up the old stuff, had it all at my house the last couple of years. I met Stu McPherson, who's obviously part of the Auckland Indoor, running the committee there, and he's the man with the paperwork, so he helped us get a move on. So we basically finally cracked into the site, properly dug some dirt, March I think it was, and winter sort of kicked in, and now myself and Jamie Neves have built the actual track, and a few other guys are actually helping us. Like Stu's organised the containers, and we got some volunteers down there to help us modify them. Aaron Baxter, and Stu Grant's been down there heaps. So we're hoping to actually have a 8-scale buggy track come late January, where we can finally start running meetings. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah, starting something from scratch is always difficult. I'm pretty sure that Robin's not looking forward to doing that with North Harbour, should we be fortunate enough to find a bit of hot mix somewhere where we can throw something down. It's kind of there's a number of tracks under construction at the moment. So Taranaki are building their on-road track. They've got you guys doing ARCCC. Then you've got the guys down in Blenheim who've just finished the 222 Raceway, which looks pretty epic. For those following along at home, I'll drop down some pins into the comments below so you can have a look at their track. There's some shots of their track with the cars running around. It looks really epic. They've done a massive
world-class facility.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's down in Blenheim of all places, which is not so bad. Good place to go for a vino. Ross, with your club, you're very, very similar in the realms of how AIRCCC works. What are you finding is drawing your membership to be as healthy as it is?
I think we talking to me or talking to Craig? Sorry.
Talking to you. Craig's obviously got a bit of a delay.
I think for us, probably indoor is that place where a lot of different disciplines can come and race together. So you can get the on-road guys, you can get the off-road guys, and then you've got the dedicated carpet guys, like you say. They can all race together pretty competitively, which is good. But I think really for us, it's a big part of it in Christchurch is the weather. There can be months at a time where the guys at Harewood can't get out racing, and indoors, the 8th big tracks is awesome, and big jumps and stuff's awesome, but when you can't get out and race, indoors is a really good alternative. So that probably really helps us.
Yeah. Okay, so Jonathan, with your track, with the amount of work that we've seen progress since you broke ground earlier this year, how swampy is it there? Has it got good drainage naturally? I mean, I know you guys have thrown in a whole heap of work in the background to help the track drain, because Auckland being Auckland is notorious for rain, 20 minutes of sunshine, then back to rain again.
So just like you were saying, Ross, like we had probably a 6-month period up here where we basically didn't get to do outdoors. It's the only reason I own 10th cars is for the winter, really. And yeah, so where we are situated, it's the council actually leveled out all the land for kart sport, who was next to us and motocross and stuff. So we're sort of at the bottom of the hill. So we're getting flooded during winter, but we've done a bit more earthworks, built a base up so that the water sort of goes around our base now, and then we've planned it so that the actual base sort of is on a gradient, so it drains away quite good. We've had some rain since we built it, and it's holding up pretty good. So much so that people are worried about the dust in the summer, but I'm more worried about it being raceable in the winter, like how fast it's going to dry, and actually get to race midwinter. So only time will tell, really.
Okay. So, Robin, with the on-road scene in Auckland being relatively strong over the last couple of years, for those unaware, North Harbour used to have a permanent outdoor track at the North Harbour Stadium, hence the name North Harbour Radio Control Car Club, which was put down around about 1993, 94, I believe, and has had a few upgrades. And the last upgrade it got a swimming pool put on top of it. And since then, North Harbour's been kind of homeless, and I can say this hand on heart because I've been involved with the club for 10, 15 years, however long I've been living in Auckland for. So I've seen all that stuff go through. But for you, Robin, what do you think it is that's drawing in our relatively strong, your relatively strong club's base of racers? What do you think it is that's bringing them in?
Currently, we're racing an undercover, like a big tent space over some tennis courts. So it's guaranteed racing, or almost guaranteed racing, 90% guaranteed racing that will race through all weather, which means we can host right through and have a proper decent championship run through with that. That's not weather dependent, which is pretty cool. It's raced over 3 tennis courts, so it's about an average size track, a little bit tight for mods, or 13.5. In 2026, we're hosting the Nationals, and that's going to be over 4 tennis courts, so the mods can actually stretch their legs a bit, which is pretty cool. But it's guaranteed racing that we can turn up. You're going to turn up and race. The problem we're facing now is lads are saying, Rob, we need to do this more often, and then it becomes time poor. But if you can guarantee that there's racing on that Sunday or Saturday, whenever it is, that's when the lads can actually book their time in from their family. So listen, I'm going racing. So if you got an indoor/outdoor kind of space with a big covering, that's going to pull the lads in to go racing. Lads and girls to go racing.
Yep. So a little bit hard for Jonathan to answer this one, but for yourself, Robin, and Ross, speaking of demograph and that with your memberships, what keeps bringing them back? What is the biggest thing to bring them back? Sorry, I'll rephrase that and I'll edit this shit out because I fucked it up. So looking at your membership that you've currently got now, where do you see the club's strength in going forward to increase your memberships to make RC great again? It's cyclical. We see it in 10th scale off-road, 8 scale nitro, on-road. It goes through a cycle. At the moment, off-road is booming, on-road's not. But when I say that, North Harbour is probably one of the strongest single discipline clubs there is in the country in terms of numbers. What do you think it is that's making sure that these people are coming back, and what is the club doing to entice new members to come in and go racing?
Go for it,
Yeah,
Ross.
I guess probably the biggest thing we're doing, we're quite focused, I guess, on the social media side of it, the streaming side of things. Our venue actually put in the Starlink this year, so we can stream all our meetings live. We live stream every meeting now. We put heaps of stuff up on Facebook, which kind of gets the word out there a wee bit. Probably the best thing we did was actually we just bought a couple of club cars. We've got a couple of club cars that if people want to come and have a crack without actually spending money, they can just come and have a dig and see what they think, and if they like it, then they jump in. Like we're, the 10th scale is probably the cheapest entry into, the hobby or sport. It's a bit hard for people to rock up and get a nitro buggy or even an e-buggy unless you've got someone who's in the who's already in the know and has got gear you can have a try with. So I guess we take that responsibility to try and be that entryway for people into the sport, and then if they want to, they're more into on-road or they're more into nitro or 8 scale, whatever, then awesome, like go and do that. But at the end of the day, we're all a sport, and we've all got to help each other. I guess the other thing we're probably trying to focus on that family and younger racers coming through. Like we've got a novice class, and we try and graduate kids through into 17.5, and probably one of the most pleasing things in the last year or so for us is like we've got 2 or 3 young guys who are starting to show some like serious speed on a national stage. Zach Rickaby, Willie Sloan, those kind of guys are really getting fast, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, we do pretty much the same kind of cut and paste space, but the big thing we push a lot is you got to have the mojo for racing. If your mojo for racing disappears, then you'll throw in the towel quite quickly. So for me, it's making it always. There's got to be fun, laughter. I mean, Daryl brings in the fart noise to get the guys going on racing, and it's just bringing it a bit of laughter, a bit of fun, because then the lads will turn back up again with their families. We've seen also a membership growth. I think about 15, maybe 20 new lads that have come through the racing this last year, and that's just by turning up and a bit of word of mouth. They bring a mate, another one brings a mate, which is pretty cool. We've got a pretty good juniors crowd that turns up. Is I'd say about 15 kids. So the races for tomorrow, we're building on those numbers as well. And we're also venturing into like Mini Z to bring in a different form of RC racing, which is super cheap. It's a cheaper form of radio control car racing, which has been pretty cool. And it's also, again, it's a guaranteed race date. So, you can plan your calendar, you can work your holidays out in that kind of space. So we've also got club cars to loan out. The tricky space on that is generally you have a proper little cheapo race car, which doesn't really bring the same joy as a proper race car. But it wets the whistle a bit, and then they'll get into it. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. Unfortunately, Craig's disappeared again. So, Jonathan, with ARCCC, what plans have you got when you finally get up and running to, I know 8 scale is historically pretty heavy on the cost side of things a little bit, maybe a little bit cost prohibitive to somebody new coming in, unless they're going to run electric. What plans has the club got in place or planning to put into place to help attract new members and to try and keep those guys going? Because I'm assuming that once everything's finished and you've got your buildings built and everything laid out, it's going to be a superb Auckland track where it's going to be next level. I've seen the designs and drawings and that sort of thing that Matt Whitmarsh has done for your driver's stand, which looks really epic, and all the groundwork that's been done. So what's the plan of attack for getting members on board?
So just by doing the social media stuff like Ross was talking about, I've already had just random people send messages to the page and getting interested in when it's going to start up. Like counties just pretty close, but if someone's on the North Shore, that's probably a good hour away for them. Whereas our track is fairly central. Like, you've got 2 motorways that can get to it pretty easy, so everyone's already sort of interested from that perspective. And then, I'd quite like to get a club car that we could rent out, or just give people a turn if they're there for the day. But the other thing that we've got going for us is, as we're part of a collective at this motorsport park, there's boat hires, there's real off-road racing, there's motocross, there's kart sport, BMX. If we throw a club day at the same time as one of these other major events, we're going to get a lot of exposure. So I'm hoping that will play towards, growing the club membership. And then obviously running kids classes, and more often we'd probably run like a practice day, like during summer we'd try to get like a open day on a Wednesday or something, after school kids or something. Just try to generate some traction, because we are pretty much starting from a ground zero. But we've got a lot of veterans actually still around from the old club that are quite keen to get this going again, so it's probably not complete zero.
No. I mean, I'm in your club's chat group, so I see the stuff that's popping up, and it's really cool to see the amount of enthusiasm that there is, and the help that you're getting. Because most clubs, dare I say it, a lot of them are the same. It's the same 3 or 4 people doing all the work, but it's really cool that we've managed to see that for ARCCC, they are actually getting people turning up, doing stuff, people from other clubs turning up to help out. Like Jamie Neves, driving all the way up. He's based in Hamilton, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been mega. He's donated his time and experience basically at cost of just getting here. Jeff Burse has basically donated digger at next to zero. Aaron's doing work on the containers just about for free. Stu McPherson's put a bunch of time in. The list goes on. Like, it's just been awesome from all these people. And there's no way we could have done it without everyone helping out. So it's gonna be awesome in February when we can finally throw a club day and thank all these people properly.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Craig, I hope you can hear us. Mostly. Okay, so we were just talking about oh, he's gone again. I might have to record him separately, I think, and add him in through the wonderful world of Da Vinci.
Maybe turn his video off, see if he stays connected.
Yeah, I'll wait for him to come back. He's gone again, so we might just have to do him verbally. So just coming back to the helpers for ARCCC. I mean, like, to be fair, Stu McPherson has pulled amazing stuff out of nowhere and really got him behind to help you guys get up and running, which is an amazing thing to see. He's
done amazing. So I don't know if we sort of talked about why he's done so amazing. There's a slight incentive for him. The Auckland club has room for 3 tracks basically. 8th on road, 8th on road, a 10th scale track for Auckland indoor if they want it, and our track for 8th off road. So that was always part of the plan. Trevor Reed was an on-road racer. That's why we've always had plans to have an on-road track. Whether that happens is another thing, but there's space there for it if someone wants to take over and do it. I've had one person put their hand up already, Goose.
Yeah.
So he's kind of keen. So Auckland Indoor has a summer venue there if they want it. If they don't, Stu's done a lot of work.
Yeah, he has, and he puts a lot of work in for AIRCCC as well. So yeah, he does a mountain of work for, like you said, he's looking at to put some sort of track there because West, you don't know how long they're going to be around for. With they're on council land, the lease is $1, I think, and with the encroaching businesses and stuff in the area where they are, ideal place to be because you can be noisy because there's no one around on the weekends. But yeah, they who knows what's going to happen there. They might amalgamate into you guys. I don't know if you've had those conversations. And that probably raises another thing for Auckland in general is how many clubs have we got? We've got Auckland Indoor, we've got Auckland Outdoor, we've got Counties, we've got North Harbour. That's that.
I have actually talked to Simon about joining us, and he's already sort of agreed to joining and helping in a racing sense, but he'll still keep the West Auckland track open for
as long as
bashing or sprint cars or something, but. Yeah, that is under discussion at the moment.
Right.
Kia ora team, it's Mike Stick here. Thanks a ton for tuning in and supporting Let's Race RC. Every like, every comment, and every new subscriber keeps this channel growing and helps us bring you even more RC racing action from across New Zealand. If you're loving what we do and want to help us keep the wheels turning, you can shout us a coffee or even a beer over at buymeacoffee.com/letsracerc. Your support means the world, and it helps us stay trackside, bringing you the best coverage. Don't forget, like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. Membership options are in the link below. Catch you at the next race. Back to you, Maz.
So, and this is just a general question, and time for you boys to puff your chest up and skite. Unfortunately, Jonathan, you can't skite just yet because your track's not finished. But other clubs,
it's drivable. It's drivable.
Yeah.
You just need a ladder to the top of the container.
Well, that's not a health and safety issue at all. Don't let Matt Banks see that.
We didn't do that at all. We didn't do
Never.
that. No.
Okay, so give us a rundown on what your club's. Actually, no, it is fitting. It is fitting for you, Jonathan. Give us a rundown on what your club's biggest achievement to date is. What is the biggest thing that you guys have managed to pull off in recent history? Anyone can go whenever they like. First one in. Go.
Maintaining numbers. Maintaining race numbers. Our normal club day is about 125 cars on a normal day, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. And nobody died.
Probably. I was going to say probably for us, just as an indoor club, just getting through that challenge of that COVID period where actually going racing was actually largely out of the question for a period of time, and then we were dodging around various interpretation of rules and who could do what, and for us to maintain our numbers and everyone was still keen was awesome, because it was quite a period of time where we couldn't race, no one could do anything, which obviously outdoors could do some stuff, and that was awesome, but bit of a challenge for us.
Yeah, I have to take my hat off to Matt Banks during that period. He navigated us all through that so we could actually return to racing relatively quickly.
We actually got started on a track. It's been a long time coming, so I think I packed up the old track. I think it was just as COVID was hitting, so started 2020, right before the first lockdown, I think. Yeah.
So, just on the old track, I wasn't too privy on the reason why you guys stopped racing there. What was the reason that happened? What came about to stop racing there?
Well, like I said, I sort of was on and off at that time and moved away, but as I understand it, the promise of moving to a new permanent facility sort of put people off putting maintenance on the old one, and it sort of fell apart as that happened. And then I think counties blew up quite big at that time because of that reason. as well as them, putting on good meetings. Anyway, so I think that's all it was really, and yeah, I think council was going to move us off the old one, regardless, but they didn't.
Okay, it's just one of those things. Council land, they decide at a whim, hey, you're out, see you later, move on.
Yeah, it was basically what they said, I think, is because there's a refugee camp sort of next to it, and they had farmers that would look after the fields next to us.
Yeah.
And so they were going to take that over, and basically didn't take it over till we actually left. So we could have stayed there and raced, but it just fell apart.
Yeah. Auckland Club, I raced once or twice back way back in the day. We're in the car club at not Mount Roskill. Yeah. Anyway, where they filmed a RC TV series. I did a couple of events up there. So I've been doing it just as long as Craig has. Yeah. Okay. So going forward, as your presidents, and what have you got planned for the next 12 months for your clubs? What's the you got any big? Cappuccino is going to have a couple of big events if he can get away with it. What have you got planned in terms of racing and that sort of thing going forward for 2026? What's the calendar look like?
Well, 26 On-Road Nationals is happening in February, which is pretty cool. And then that's we've got a few other little standalone events like Tony Stevens Memorial Cup, mid-yearish. And then the bigger plan is we're on the hunt. There's 3 different sites for an on-road 10 scale track up on the shore. And finally, council have actually taken note of us. So it's just working with council, and as Mr. Cappuccino knows, they take a bit of time in making decisions, getting a move on. So it's just keeping that fire stoked at all the times. And also, it's almost like a dog chasing a stick. It's just you just got to go after it and see what happens, see what comes back. So the dream would be to have a permanent track, and it's within within reason. We'll see what happens. Keen as though, but 26 looking pretty cool. Busy calendar coming up. Cool.
What about for you, Ross? What have you guys got planned for the coming 12 months?
Yeah, we're reasonably busy too. We've got our dates all confirmed the other day for all our 2026 meetings, so that's good. We've got our usual King's Birthday South Island Indoor Champs locked and loaded with the venue, so we'll plan to run that again as we have for the past few years, which is good. Outside of racing, we've finally got a guy on our committee, Keith Morgan, who's a bit of an IT guru, so he's going to give our website a refresh hopefully this year and keep it more updated with points and media and bits and pieces coming in, which should be good. And probably just other than that, increase collaboration with the other carpet clubs. Like we've got a pretty packed schedule of major events with the Astro Masters, the Hamilton Champs, us, Tauranga, and then there's one in Invercargill right at the end of the year. So it's kind of trying to keep lines of communication open, which we're all pretty keen to do now, and make sure no one's crossing over each other with events. And touch wood, which is a bit of probably a passion of mine, is to try and get the sign off on a national carpet champs event. We'll see how that goes with remits and so forth, but fingers crossed, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school, but hopefully Hamilton can host that in 2026 in August, I think it is, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting that you got this collaboration between clubs. I know on the 10 scale dirt side of things, you've got like the guys down the east coast. East coast of the North Island, doing their own thing. So you got Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Manawatu, and then a little further down in Wellington. And I think there was a little bit of crossover across to Taranaki where they've run their Fast 5 series. It's good to see that, and it's good to see that also being replicated in the 10 scale indoor scene as well, where you're trying to encourage these guys to go to the events, and it's a little bit harder when it's between islands, but at the same time, it's cool to see that coming up. Now, if we could just get something happening in on-road and maybe something happening in 8 scale as well. I know for a fact that Gisborne, for example, are building a purpose-built 8 scale track on their site that they're at. So that will be looking to open in 2027, I believe. So that's going to help, because their current track they've got, whilst it's a good track, it's a little bit small for 8 scale. To bang around 12 cars at a time, it's a little bit hard. So it's cool to see this stuff coming up, and it's cool to see we've got, as I alluded to earlier, you've got the track down in Blenheim that's been built. You've got ARCCC being built. You've got Taranaki finally getting their long-awaited on-road track underway. So it's, we're in a good spot. We're in a really good spot at the moment, and it's about keeping that momentum going. To keep Robin awake, so he's not trying to fall asleep while we're talking.
Yeah, the 8 scale stuff's looking awesome. Both, Jono and I were at the Nationals at TMR the other weekend, and that was an awesome event. Blenheim's looking like world class, that track. Bev and those guys have put in some massive effort. So I agree. 8 scale's looking awesome. I think it's best it's looked in a wee while.
Do you think the 8 scale boom and the effort that's going in, do you think that's a direct reflection on the ABC?
A little bit, yeah. I'd say Counties has done a pretty mega job at holding really New Zealand's first international event for 8 scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I can't remember any Americans ever coming over before then. I could be wrong, but that'd be before my time, I think. Definitely had a few Aussies over the years, but have Ryan Lutz here. That was pretty epic.
Yeah.
So when I lived in Australia for 3 years, and one of the things they do there is, at the time was run by Ari Barkler, was the Proline Challenge, where 5 different clubs in New South Wales basically ran a weekend champs, and the results of the 5 different events was sort of the winner, just like a normal motorsport season, and that was pretty epic. That's some of the best racing I've had. And that got people to travel to be part of that series.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do something with Counties and Tauranga, at least as a tri-series to start with, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing for Auckland I really want to bring back is the 3-hour enduro we used to do.
Nice.
Because that was awesome.
Nice.
Everyone remembers that.
Yeah. Bishy used to scrot about it all the time too. So, and he's been lurking around in the background too, just recently, just quietly. Not that he's watching. So back in the day when I was a teenager, and this is when Robin had probably still had hair. I can't speak for Ross, but I was living in Tauranga at the time, and we used to have an inter-club series in 10 scale, because that's, Nitro wasn't around. Well, it was an 8 scale on-road, but there wasn't anything off-road. So we used to do an inter-club series, and you'd have, in the good old heydays of 10 scale electric off-road, there was a club in every town. So we'd go every other weekend. We'd be going to, from Tauranga, we'd go to Hamilton, Te Araha, Matamata, Morrinsville, Paeroa, Papakura, Counties, and then we go all the way down to New Plymouth, and their track was horrible because it was by the beach, so your car would be full of this iron sand. So we were traveling every other weekend. It was epic, and it would be cool to see something like that happen again across all the disciplines. But you know, our pool of talent, drivers is only so big. But the speedway guys managed to make it work. They do it. So I can't see why we can't do it with our disciplines as well. I think, you know, we need to put some thought into it, how we get that to work, how we get the buy-in by other clubs, because, you know, a lot of clubs go, oh, it's too much effort. So, yeah. But, you know, if you guys keep doing what you're doing, others will probably follow. Just mindful of time here, and I know you guys have got families and stuff like that. So, I don't really have too many more questions. I do have 5 for 25, which if you've been watching the channel, that is our quickfire section where I ask 5 questions. You got 25 seconds to answer them, and it's the first thing that comes to your head. Now, because we're doing it as a group thing, it is first in, best dressed, give your answer, then the other 2 can follow. Sound fair?
Fair enough.
Cool.
All right. Okay, so for our final edition of 5 for 25 on Let's Race RC, we have Robin Upton from North Harbour Radio Control Car Club, Ross Martin from Canterbury Indoor Radio Control Car Club.
Christchurch.
Sorry, Christchurch. Let me get that wrong.
It's easy to get mixed up.
Yes, it starts with a C. And Jonathan Coluccio from Auckland Radio Control Car Club, affectionately known as Cappuccino. Not because he's smooth, milky, and pale brown, just because it sounds good. So, here we go. 5 for 25. Here we go. We got 5 questions. You got 25 seconds to come up with your answer. And first one up. You just shout out your name and then give your answer, and the other 2 can follow. So, question number 1, and this is around tyres. Jonathan will know all about this. Control tyres or open? Go.
Kappa.
All right, go, Jonathan.
Controlled pre-glued.
Next.
Control.
Black round little things that go on cars.
All right. Question number 3. Individually, what's your favourite class and why?
Ooh. Robin, front wheel drive.
And why?
Because it's sexy.
Right.
You got
I'd say nitro truggy because although buggy is more finesse and probably requires more skill, truggy's just fun. Like you can just thrash it, and it goes.
Yeah, I'm actually surprisingly going to say nitro buggy for carpet club. Nitro buggy. Love the long races. 20-minute races, 30-minute races. Awesome.
So
Nitro goes longer.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Jonathan, is if one said NZRCA president was decided to enter in the ABC this year, he should probably run in the truggy class just for shits and gigs?
Well, the undisputed old man class is the electric truggy class because it's got all the power in the world and it's easy to drive. So I would go with that.
Well, Neville runs it, so it must be good. Okay. All right.
Some would say it's the premier class too, so you'll be right there with them.
All right, come in. Bring it on. Bring it on. Okay, question number 3, halfway through. Name your favorite event you've entered.
Ross, I'll go. Probably Astro Masters for me. Probably.
You hearing that, Craig? Even though you're not here.
Oh, I've got to go with the Nationals to race with talent from someone like Willie Sloan, man. That to race up with them that's a good time.
I have to say, the only Worlds I've been to is 2018 Aussie Worlds in Perth. and just being around all the pros and seeing how they do it was pretty amazing. And you get to, before you hit seeding, you get to race with pros in your practice heat, which was, I had Elliot Boots against me, and put 2 seconds on me lap, so that was good to feel.
But how epic was Shay Mungu's?
It was epic.
How epic was Shay Mungu's bump up series that he did, where I think he holds the record for the most amount of bump ups in a Worlds. So,
yeah, well, if he ever sees this, it's because he did so shit in qualifying. But well done, Mungu, in the finals. He's a good mate of mine. So
gold. Okay, question number 4. Now this is gonna require a little bit of thought. What is the biggest flaw with RC currently?
We don't have any pit girls.
Amen to that.
Biggest flaw. There's no.
I'd have to say the weather.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'd go with that. Weather. There's no permanent track indoors. Cyberspace.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think if council granted us a roof in each of our respective tracks,
sorted.
it would blow up.
Yeah, sorted. Cheapest form of on-road of racing, on and off-road.
Excuse me.
So we could take.
Yeah, probably weather. Yeah, I'd say weather too. Yep.
You know what we could do is the dew drop center. There's a lake out the front where we could do RC boats. There's a big massive paddock we could do RC planes, and then there's 2 stadiums inside where one you could fill up with dirt, and the other one you could have an on-road track. Now, how cool would that be?
Not bad.
Pretty awesome.
It's big enough. Okay, 5th and final question for 5 for 25 for 2025, because next year it won't be called that. It will be called something else.
Sex for 26.
Sex? Ooh, you shouldn't be
Just
saying
saying,
that.
just trying to work out what you're going to go with the name. 5 for 25, sex for 26.
What is the one thing you would like to do to make RC more attractive to the layman?
More footage.
Probably get it on TV.
Yeah, put it on TV. More footage. Like the Worlds was in Australia. That was incredible. That was cool. More
Their
coverage.
coverage was way better than Formula
Way
One. And you
coverage,
didn't have or supercars. We didn't have Mark Scaife waffling on about fucking how many times Kai Allen hadn't been to the Surfers Paradise, or how many hot mix changes there were at Sandown, or all that palaver. It was what they did, what RC Race Media did was epic. That
cool.
was world class.
That was cool.
Anyway,
Yeah, tell us how you really feel about him.
okay.
We don't have that time.
They gave me a couple of shout outs, so I got to shout them out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Fair's fair, isn't it? All right, gentlemen. That gets us to the hour almost on the button. So thank you very much for your time this evening. We hope that Santa is going to be unbelievably kind to you this year, even though 2025 has been a bit of a tough year for a lot of families around New Zealand and other countries around the world. It's been an unusual time where just a whole lot of weird shit going on. Somehow there's that funny orange guy over in America still making things difficult. What are your plans for the summer season coming up? Time off, relaxation with family, friends? Give us a rundown on what you got planned for the Christmas of 2025 and the New Year of 26.
I'm setting up a mini Z track at work from Monday through Friday, so the lads can come up and turn laps whenever they want, which will be pretty cool. And we're going to Romania. Looking forward to that. As in Romania.
Not remain here, you're going to the country of Romania.
We're going to remain here. We're cheap as. Work for a church, remember?
We'll finish that here. Thank you so much for your time this evening. This will actually drop on Christmas Eve, so keep an eye out for it. So, Jonathan, you got some time to put some spade work in to stop yourself from getting in the shit with your in-laws.
Yep.
And thank you very much. We'll end that here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Catch you
Merry
later.
Christmas.
Gotcha.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Most people probably don't know me in more recent years with racing, but my name's Craig Puller. I'm a dairy farmer from Northland. I milk 700 cows as a living, and yeah, I've been in RC since '83 was when I got my very first RC car, and got myself bitten ever since. And yeah, it's a great hobby and sport to be in.
Yeah, what was your first car?
My very first car, which I still have, is a toy-wheeled RC car. My parents thought that would get me out of the urge to play with expensive toy cars. But my first proper RC car was a Tamiya Hornet,
Same as me.
which back then it was actually a semi-competitive car. But it just fueled the passion I have for RC. You know, it's at that time in my life I was I can't say I was exactly sporty, but there goes my vintage Shoemaker cap.
OG.
But yeah, I just loved the mechanics of the RC cars, the racing side of it. At that stage, you know, the people you met and it's just grown ever since.
Nice. What drives you to your RC passion? What's the driving factor behind it? What spins your wheels, so to speak?
Ooh, a few things. Like I was just sort of commenting that I've got a reasonable passion for it. I've been a reasonably competitive driver all throughout the years. The competition side of things is something that I've really enjoyed. The tinkering with the cars, you know, working out what's wrong, working out how to get the car going that little bit better and faster. And the other big thing, which is a huge part of this, is the people you meet. Look, over the years, I've made some exceptionally close friends and met a lot of very interesting people, and it's that probably more so in my older years, not that I'm old, but that probably drives me the most is the people.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, I know you and Colin have been friends since buggers knows how long, but a very, very long time, isn't it?
I first met Colin when he was 16. I'm a couple of years older than Colin, but he turned up at the Whangarei RC Car Club, and he just gravitated to the group of people that I was with, and yeah, he travelled away racing with us, and yeah, over the years, yeah, we've just remained best mates. So yeah.
And you catch up outside of RC. Your friendship extends to beyond the sport / hobby / endless bottomless pit to throw money into.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people I only catch up with at racing because of the distance of where I am. But there's a few that I catch up with quite often, as often as I can. It's what I like about the sport. You know, it creates lifelong friendships, and over the last couple of years I was racing at GKR at one of their classics, and managed to catch up with Brad Horgan, and he was one of the ones that I raced with many years ago. You know, he was one of the top drivers back then, and you know, after so many years, you know, once you work out who everyone is, I'm a bit scruffier than I used to be. You know, you've got that common race experiences and that, and it's you just get chatting away like it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it goes by in a heartbeat, doesn't it? It's before you know it, 25, 30 years have disappeared.
We, for whatever reason, we think we're still a lot younger than what we actually are. So you can look in the mirror, or you catch up with someone you haven't seen for a very long time, and you go, "Ooh, you've lived."
Well, that's my brain still says I'm 21, but the grey hair sort of says I'm a little bit older than that now. So, but you're as only as old as you feel.
Yep, that's true. That's why I wear a hat, is so you can't see half my grey hair, or my silver fox, because I've outgrown my boyish good looks now. So I have to take over the mantle of Richard Gere and try and swoon ladies with my silver hair.
You go with that George Clooney look, isn't it?
No, I don't like Nescafe. So let's talk about your club that you're the president of. So you're the president of the AIRCCC, which is Auckland Indoor Radio Control Car Club. Give us a little bit of a background to the club, how it started, how long have you been in that position, and maybe some of the things that you've done that have been a little unique to what other clubs have done traditionally.
Okay, so Auckland Indoor was started by Vinsky and Stu McPherson. They started this basically in a garage, just playing around, and the opportunity for them to start racing at our current venue at Action Sports in Henderson came about, and they started there, I think, with only a handful of drivers, maybe 8 to 10 drivers, and I was looking for something to race, because a lot of the race days I'd been trying to go to had been rained out. Had been rained out, and I turned up there, and just as I normally do, any club I've been to, I've just chipped in and helped. I'm going to say probably might even be 5 years ago now, 4 years ago. I was asked to be the president. Vince was sort of having to step aside a little bit. I said yes, I'd do that. So yeah, I've been the president since then. Stu McPherson's our secretary. We've had various other committee members on and off. But the club seems to operate quite well with a very small committee, which is good and bad. But the club's growing. We had I'm going to say 3 years ago, we had quite a bad year for the weather. It was raining all the time, it seemed. And I think that's where the AIRCCC really exploded, with a lot of people not able to race outdoors as often. It attracted people to what we do. I mean, we race regardless every race day. As for doing things at the club, the big focus we've had is to make it a family-orientated, family-friendly environment. Make it where everyone puts a hand up to help other drivers, and that you get someone walks in the door and they're thinking about racing or have got a car, and they see everyone with their setups and that. We've got an atmosphere where people will just go straight up to them and ask them if they need help or with anything. Lots of fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, even.
Yep.
Racing, which that family atmosphere just makes the club what it is.
Yeah, that's the important part, is we're making sure that it is a fun family environment to come into. And you're right, you guys must have that recipe pretty well right, with the amount of families within your club. Still, unfortunately, still a little heavy on the dad-son thing, but it's good to see that there is some father-daughter thing going on as well, which is cool to see. So, but yeah, that helping everybody out. I know you touched on about the size of the committee. Having been on committees myself, both big and small, it generally ends up being the same. 2 or 3 people do everything, and we end up with a whole lot of what I like to term most committee meetings as NATO talks. No action, talk only. Everyone's got the perfect idea, but the moment you say, "Well, do you want to give us a hand?" It's like, "Oh, where'd you go?" So,
It is a thing with. I've been involved with clubs all my life, and it always is the way. You'll get some people are more than happy to put their hand up and put the extra mile in, and others don't. But look, I do truly believe that, if you're involved in any club, whatever it is, that at some point you need to just put your hand up and say, yes, I'm going to help. And if everyone does that, just not all the time, but just, once in a while, or just say, look, I'll go in the committee for a year or whatever, it works for us all, because no club will keep racing without volunteers to get out there and make it happen, basically.
Yeah, it takes a lot of hard work, doesn't it, to get things to happen, like big events and that sort of thing to put into place. The hours that go in behind, and you're right. If somebody gives 10 minutes to stay behind at the end to pack up, that makes a massive difference. Or just says, hey, I'll organise the engraving. I'll get that. I'll go and do that for you. I'll get that done for the trophies or something. Those little bits and pieces, the little 1%ers, all adds up. All makes it just that much more enjoyable for everybody else as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with the AIRCCC, you're, for a better word, you're jewel in the crown as the Astro Masters over Marariki weekend. Last year, bloody good event. What was it called? The Protect Peak. A nice little add to the track. Anything in the works for 2026 in terms of layout changes, additional jumps or lack of jumps, whatever format? You got any plans underway at this? Even though we're only at Christmas Eve, we're not quite at the end of the year yet. Any plans in place or starting to look at things?
We've been getting in, already starting to get things organised even at this early stage. I said to myself after the last one that, I need a decent break, but my brain was already working a week afterwards at how can we make it better. So I could tell you everything we're doing or thinking of, but then I'd have to kill you. But no, it's seriously though. I like to do something different every year, just that little bit new or special. We, being the Astro Masters, we try to step it up a little bit from a normal club meeting with just a little bit different, hence the Protect Peak, just something a little bit harder to deal with and a bit more challenging. But I've got a couple of things in the works. Just got the committee to agree to spending a little bit of money to improve things. But something that should make things entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, yeah, from where I stood all weekend, the event ran smoothly. Richard did a good job upstairs in his little cabin, being race director. So, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, from what I saw from where I was standing, it looked really cool, which is, funnily enough, has led me to do a little bit more investment in my gear again. So it seems to be every time I do something, I come away with a new idea, and so I got some stuff we'll be trialing at GKR this year, and then also down at the Bay Champs, and then hopefully I'll have it tweaked enough when it comes to your event and we're live streaming it, it'll just work. So yeah, we're same sort of thing, taking ideas from what's been done overseas, and listening to other people and just researching and then going, right, okay, how do I make this work? And then Richard's come along and said, oh, we should try this. Yeah, okay, well, let's try that. So I think when we get it down packed, it'll work really, really well.
But we use the first couple of meetings of the year because they're not streamed. I just record them so then I can work out where I've gone wrong, if there's a mistake or anything like that. But yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that and getting that out to the world to everybody to see.
But but just like what you were saying, you look at what other people are doing and what you've done, and that we're the same with the Astro Masters. We look at what we're doing, we look at what others are doing, and we don't always get it right. But we look at how we can improve. How can we make it a better experience for people? And you take ideas from other people and just keep chipping away.
So getting back to the AIRCCC and stop waffling about me and my channel.
There's the vintage back.
There's your vintage cat. Don't show me your star, please. I tell you, when we're doing the NZRCA AGM in the remits and that, and Stu was representing you guys, he's sitting there and his cat came into view and attacked him. Just while he was on camera. It's like poor bugger's trying to fight off his cat and vote at the same time. It's like they couldn't time it better. Oh, here we go. We're going to get the balloon knot in a second.
Yeah.
What's the cat's name?
That's Cat's Mischief. She's 14 years old at the moment, so she's got a bit of age to her.
Yeah, well, I've got.
So,
one.
but
yeah, Karen, sorry,
I was just going to say, my wife and I have been out for the day, so she's looking for attention today.
Yeah, it's funny that mine will be at the door. She's 15 and she'll be sitting at the door staring at it, waiting for me because it's 5:30 now. And her dinner time's between 5 and 6, and she starts pacing at about 1. She does that at night time. Night time. So you wake up and there's this cat just looking at you.
Yeah, this one does the same. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
it's like,
but wouldn't do without them though.
No. It just goes to show what we've got to look for in our retirement years, sitting around all day doing fuck all. Yeah. So for AIRCCC, what is, and this can be anything, doesn't have to be an event or anything, what do you think the club's biggest achievement it's had in its 6 or 7 years that it's been around for?
Oh, that's a real hard one. Our biggest achievement, I think, is the environment and the atmosphere that we have at the club. I think that's our biggest achievement. We can all put on big race days, and that's great. And I think we do a reasonably good job with the Astro Masters. But I think having that environment and the atmosphere that people are looking forward to, not just the track and racing, but they're looking forward to catching up with their mates and having a laugh and just being there as a whole, I think is the biggest achievement.
Your role as president, what has it been now, 5 years?
About that. I couldn't tell you exactly how long it's been.
Feels like an eternity.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So with that in mind, becoming the president, what keeps you in that role every year? Because it's not the most enjoyable job. You've always, I call it a job, but you've always got lots of things to worry about. Everybody's coming at you. So what's the thing? And I'm pretty sure I fairly well know how you're going to answer this. But what keeps you staying in that role and doing what you're doing and not just going, oh, you know what? I just want to go and race.
No one else wants to do it. No, sorry.
No,
sorry.
That's about right.
No, look. Again, I'm happy to put my hand up and do stuff. But I think the biggest thing for me is, it's seeing. Again, the older I get, my racing, I'm not quite as fast as I used to be, and things like that. But what I see is, how some of the kids come in where they can barely do a lap without crashing, to giving us old farts a run for our money. Seeing, like, using names, the Shepherds, Aiden, Justin, and Lincoln. I remember when they turned up to the club with I think they were Tamians at the time, and they've gone from being just having a bit of fun and everything else to being at the pointy end of the field, and they're helping people, they're enjoying the racing. It's a great family thing for them. But seeing that sort of thing, the growth, how people go through our racing, it's things like that probably keep me going. It's, for example, Daniel York, or Elmo, him and his daughter Taylor. It's a great thing seeing them racing, and everyone's encouraging and that with Taylor, because they want to see Taylor get to a point where she can actually give Dad a run for his money. And she's getting better and better, and that's an awesome thing to see.
Yeah.
So, it's that sort of stuff. The smiles on people's faces, and I know it gets tiring sometimes, but then when you sit back and think about it, there's way more positives to do this than negatives.
Yeah, there is. 5 for 25. So question number 1 for you, Mr. Craig Puller. In racing, do you prefer control tyre or open tyre?
Control tyre.
Okay. What is your favourite class?
Ooh, I'm going to say currently it's two-wheel drive stock.
Okay, cool. And your favourite event?
Ooh, favourite event. I'd have to say the Astro Masters. I'd have to.
Of course you do. Of course. Okay, so what is, in your mind, the biggest flaw with RC currently?
Ooh, biggest flaw. Perception. People perceive this as too costly and just toys. We know they're not toys, and as a cost, for example, two-wheel drive buggy, completely outfitted with gear, is probably no more expensive than a top-of-the-line cell phone, iPhone or Samsung, the top model, which people are quite happy to spend that money on. So, yeah.
Okay. And final question. What would you do to RC to make it more attractive? Or make RC great?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think to make it more popular, bigger, better, it probably comes down to perception. It's changing people's mindsets on what we do. Again, like I say, people think they're toy cars, but they're not. We sell this to the public as it's a great fun sport that you meet lifelong friends with, that gets kids away from computers and their phones, and it makes kids actually think, from setup to repairing and things like that. So it's just changing the public's perception and getting what we do out there and people to understand it, as we see it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's epic. All right, so I will say thank you very much for your time this evening, Craig.
Big thanks to tonight's guests for joining us. Robin Upton, President of North Harbour RC. Jonathan Coluccio, President of Auckland RC. Ross Martin, President of Canterbury Indoor RC. And Craig Puller, president of Auckland Indoor RC. A special thank you to our channel members, Michael Hawkins and Stuart McPherson. Plus, a big shout out to everyone who bought Maz a coffee. Jared Coombs, the Lilly family, Brad Monahan, and Robin Upton. Your support keeps Let's Race RC rolling. From Maz and Mike Stick, have a Merry Christmas and be safe going into the new year.
All right, team, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Let's Race RC podcast. Thanks for tuning in and sharing the ride with us. Remember, Let's Race RC isn't just about podcasts and videos. We can be trackside at your next event, capturing all the racing action, stories, and behind-the-scenes moments that make RC special. So, if your club or event wants professional coverage, live streaming, or feature content, reach out and let us know. Let's Race RC is ready to roll with you. Until next time, I'm Mike Stick. Keep it fast, keep it fun, and let's race RC.